So this evening we've got local author Jen Matthews with us. Hi, Jen.
Hi guys. Hi.
Lovely to see you, and I hope you've had a lovely Christmas.
I have, thank you. Yeah, I was working, so I worked for the NHS, but it was still really lovely. We had a lovely time and made sure our patients got presents and a good Christmas dinner. So yeah, it was good.
Oh, well done. And was it hard work to work over Christmas, or?
I was working nights and I work in rehab. So I mean, our patients, we didn't have any real problems. You know, we don't check them overnight unless we really need to. So yeah, we're just available to run the unit, and if they do come down because they can't sleep or whatever.
You work on a mental health.
I do, yeah. I work on a mental health adults of working age rehab and recovery ward.
Oh, well done. Awesome.
We teach people to do stuff, cook and clean and take the meds and cope with how they feel and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and a really important part of mental health nursing. Yeah, well done. Awesome. So Jane, over the last few days, over the Christmas period, you brought to us on the social group snippets from your books, and it's been brilliant to be part of your journey. And yeah, and I hope people, you know, who've connected with the social group have you know, have found those snippets, you know, quite interesting and, you know, something very different to what people would normally expect from Proud Bar.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, you were there at the very beginning of Proud Bar. You came to me and you asked me, would I like to launch your first book?
You did.
And we did. We sat down and we launched your first ever book. So yeah. You've asked me today to sort of like come on, you know, and go live with you. Mm-hmm. And I really want to thank you, you know, from the bottom of my heart, just to sort of say, you know, thank you for giving me this opportunity to sort of reflect back, you know, how we first got started at Proud. But I really want to ask you as an author, how did you start, you know, writing your books, and what was it that inspired you to put pen to paper?
Okay, well, I started writing when I was really young. When I was in year 9, so 14-ish, I wrote a sequel in English lessons to Lady Chatterley's Lover, and it was fairly explicit. Especially for a 14-year-old, and my teachers were rather concerned, and they phoned my parents and basically said, she's done this, and my dad was totally fine with it, and the only concern he had was I hadn't talked about protection. So that was kind of my foray into romance. Obviously it was heterosexual romance at the time. I watched The X-Files when I was a teenager and discovered fan fiction. I don't know if anybody knows what fan fiction is. It's fiction about TV series, books, radio programs, that kind of thing. Usually characters that other people have invented, and then it's usually romance, I'll be honest. It's usually you get two people together. And I started out with Mulder and Scully, again, another heterosexual thing, but I progressed on to various kind of women that love women, lesbian fiction, fan fiction stuff, and yeah, wrote a bit of that. When I was 14, I started a unique novel, like a coming of age type thing called Porg, which you can buy. It's formatted awfully, but it works as a story, and there's a twist at the end, so that's always fun. But I then didn't write for a long time, mostly because I was kind of moving around. I went to uni. I didn't really, I wasn't very happy. My mental health was a bit rubbish. And so I'm trying to think when it was, 2016, me and my wife discovered that Heather Peace was going to be on Holby City. So we were like, oh, we have to watch Holby City. So we watched Holby City, and I discovered Barina, which was a relationship between Bernie Wolfe and Serena Campbell. And there was a big fan kind of explosion. You know, whole kind of massive community. Everybody was really lovely. I discovered the fan fiction on there and I decided to write it myself. So a couple of years later, I wrote something called Hooked on You because I have nerve damage in my face, and for a little while I wasn't coping very well with that, and my wife basically sent me out to Crosspatch in Weston, which is just down from Proud Bar, isn't it? Is it Orchard Street or Meadow Street? I always get them two mixed up. And I learned to crochet basically because talking and eating and all the social things were very difficult for me at the time. So I learned to crochet and discovered, maybe in my head, imagined that would be an amazing kind of setting for a book, for a fan fiction. So I wrote the fan fiction.
And that was the first book that you wrote yourself?
Yes. So I then I then made it into an original piece of fiction. I changed a hell of a lot of it and wrote Hooked on You with Anna and Ollie. Mm-hmm. And just kind of on a weird whim, I don't even remember where my head was, just on a complete whim, I sent it to Ilver Publishing in Germany. I basically chose them because they had the submission guidelines were something that I could do. You know, I didn't find them too taxing. And literally 2 days later, I got an email saying, we want to talk to you about a contract. And I just kind of fell over and was in complete shock. So yeah, it took a long time to edit because I was a new writer and didn't know all the things that I needed to know. But in the end, yeah, 2019 in February it was released and it did incredibly well. I think it was either the 8th or the 6th best-selling book for Ilver that year.
Wow, that is
especially for a debut. Like I just really didn't think it'd do so well.
Yeah, we watched that in Proud, and your family and friends were there, and your lovely wife Sarah, and you know that was quite a start for us, really. You know, to sort of like experience a book launch in Proud. And it was lovely that you're local and this is your journey. This is your journey, and for a lot of people, they see Proud as just a nighttime venue. And it, of course, is a lot more than that.
Definitely,
it's a safe space for people to come and be themselves, and we can also, signpost people to professionals. If they should ever need support and what have you. But I'm not going to go on about the other side to Proud. We're going to talk about you.
Yay!
So thank you for, giving us a sort of heads up on Hooked on You. It was about crocheting and, and I know that you brought the book along, but you also brought some things along with you when we bought the book that you'd actually made and crocheted, and we had them in the bar for quite a few weeks afterwards, didn't we? So that was the first book, and then that did very well, and you're proud of that. So, and then you've gone on to write a second book.
So my second book was out the same year but in August, and it was called The Words Shimone. It's about a paramedic who's dyslexic. She meets a nursing lecturer at university when she goes to do an additional course for her job, and they run a kids gardening group together. Sounds random, but it works. And I had my launch party with you for that one as well.
You did.
Remember the really awkward gardening quiz that I wrote?
We had fun. We had some fun.
I wrote it out, read out the questions, and everybody was like, "What are these questions?" Good fun.
So how well did that book do?
I'm not sure. Not as well as my first book.
Right.
But yeah, it did okay. I haven't had any complaints.
No, absolutely. So at what point did you sort of like you brought these two books to us? At what point did you want to do a little bit more and reach out into the author community? Because you've done something amazing in Weston that I was actually, privileged to come along to. I think I was probably one of the only guys there, was I? I think there was.
My dad was there as well.
Your dad was there. That
And
was
I think somebody local had a male reader fan that came as well. But yeah, there weren't many men there. I mean, it's everybody's included. You know, it's not a thing that's only for women at all. The genre is lesbian fiction, or sapphic, as we're starting to call it now, because it's not all about lesbians. So you know, it's a thing that we do welcome everybody to, but it's called so the way it happened was in Bristol is it 2017, I think, we had something called LCON, which stands for European Lesbian Literature Convention or Conference, I think.
Okay.
It was at the Marriott in Bristol. It was incredibly expensive. It was like 70 quid a ticket. It was really, really pricey. And I had a stall there. I didn't even have a book out, but I had a stall there, and I think it was in the summer. But yeah, it was one of those things that could have been really awesome.
Yeah.
And it was quite good. We had like panels, and you know, it was all very corporate feeling. But yeah, it was a bit it was really expensive, so it wasn't accessible to everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, you needed to have the money to be able to get there and stay in Bristol if you didn't live in the area, you know.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, Claire Hyton Stevenson, who's another author, she's an indie author, she actually self-publishes all her books and is very prolific. She came up with an idea for something very similar, because LCON didn't happen the next year, called South Coast Lesfic Hangout, which happens in Crawley. Okay. In I think the Horticultural Society Hall or something. It's basically a town hall-y type space. Right. And she decided that she would make it free for readers.
Wow.
So everybody who wanted a stall had paid like a tenner or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously people that didn't live in Crawley could turn up and then spend money on accommodation rather than having to spend money on the tickets.
Yeah.
And that went really, really well. She raised a lot of money for charity whilst we were there, because we had a big raffle. All the authors brought in prizes, which was really cool. Yeah. And we sold loads of books and talked to loads of readers, and I met people from I've got a fan we've all got the same fan in Finland, Mira, who's amazing, and she actually came over from Finland, and we all met her, and it was lovely.
Beautiful.
And we also got to network a little bit, because we did that a little bit at LCON. But like I said, it was quite busy, and there was lots of panels, and it was a bit corporate feeling. And we all kind of went away and socialized afterwards, so that was quite nice. But yeah, South Coast Lesfic Hangout was really cool. And I approached Claire and I said, would you mind if I did one in the Southwest? Because obviously you're in the Southeast and I live in the Southwest. And she was like, no, go for it. So it's a sister event. We share things that go well and things that don't go quite as well. And we have feedback at every event from people. So yeah, I just decided that, you know, we would do a similar thing, have a raffle, make money for North Somerset LGBT Forum, which we did. Roped in my parents to sell coffee and cake and do the raffle. And we had some readings as well, which were really nice actually, because we had a PA system. Yeah, and that's how it kind of came about in 2019.
Right, and that's what I really like. You know, the coming together of women, and you welcome everybody in, and yeah. It was great to be able to go around to, you know, all the authors and just connect. And as you know, I'm very much about LGBT plus, and to be welcomed into that. And to talk to authors, it was really empowering.
Good.
And you know, I hope that, you know, we do it again once we're out of lockdown.
Oh, it's going to happen. In fact, it did happen this year. We had it in, because like I was a bit like, we have a lot of things in summer, so when shall I schedule it? So we scheduled it for November, which is a bit of a weird time, but it is kind of before Christmas, so people maybe might come along and buy a Christmas present for somebody, that kind of thing. And it's inside. We had it at the campus in Weston in 2019. So this year I was like, we're doing it again. I don't know how we're doing it. We're doing it. So I did approach the campus when we came out of lockdown in September,
right,
and said, what how can we do this? Is this possible? And at the time, I think 30 people were allowed to meet in a space, and we sort of, I kind of reserved space for 30 people. Because we all went back into lockdown, it didn't happen face to face. However, we ran it online, and actually it worked amazingly. We did it basically the same as we're doing now. We had I organised different panels, different readings from people. I think I had 18 people doing readings. I had 4 themed panels with different subjects. I had a free for all both the days that we ran it, and we also had a writing clinic for people to write in and ask questions.
Oh, that's incredible.
Established authors, how do I do this kind of thing? Yeah. But it was amazing. It was so good, and it ran like clockwork, which was awesome. And yeah, it was just 2 days of excellent people talking about the books. It was great.
So that's, you know, a hell of an achievement, you know, that you've managed to sort of like continue, you know, the event during lockdown, and you're still fully engaged with the community that you built, you know, which is predominantly women, you know, and that's fantastic, a fantastic network, because, you know, it is so important that communities, you know, and groups stick together, you know, during difficult times. So yeah, we've tried really hard in our community. I know that the North Somerset LGBT Forum have been doing their things. I'm no longer a trustee with them now, Joan. Since the back end of 2019, because of the UK Pride bid that we put in for Weston-super-Mare, I had to make some serious decisions.
Definitely, you can't spread yourself so thinly that you get poorly, can you?
No, and you know, rolling around with 3 projects in my head. My head is quite funky anyway.
My head's fairly funky. I had to stop doing crochet commissions, which was really sad, because I love doing them, but I just don't have time. I don't have the headspace to be able to create.
And I think it was the right thing to do for me to sort of like step down as a trustee for the chair for North Somerset LGBT Forum, and really sort of like hand it over to, you know, someone who's equally talented and passionate around, you know, connecting with people in the LGBT community. So North Somerset LGBT Forum now is sitting with Steve Wintergray, who is really passionate to deliver on the ground. My focus now is that we nurture Weston-super-Mare Pride.
Definitely.
And we also nurture Proud Bar.
Yeah.
And you know, those are my 2 projects now. And you know, moving forward, Jen, I would love to include you.
Thank you.
I know that you came to Weston-super-Mare Pride last year,
the last time we had it. It was very exciting.
And you know, you were there with your bookstall.
Yeah.
And you know, that is such an important thing for me personally, to see different things introduced to Weston-super-Mare Pride. For the UK Pride, I would love to see more women authors and male authors and trans authors from all demographics to come and engage with us, because at the end of the day, it is a national pride.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely bringing more authors, or at least authors' books, to the next, to UK Pride when it's in Weston. My publisher has said, hopefully, so long as everything goes to plan, that I can bring a selection, and that they will support me in that. So there'll be loads and loads of different books for you to read.
That'd be brilliant. So yeah, very excited about that, and we will talk off air about, you know, how we can support each other moving forward. So that's brilliant. So the Words Shimmer happened, and then you've done another book.
Yes. So this is one that I didn't read from because there isn't a Christmas scene in it. Cry. Right. But it seems to be something that I do. So I'm currently writing my 6th book ish, and the 6 books, 4 of them have Christmas scenes in.
Right.
So yeah, I'm quite into Christmas. So Reasons to Heal doesn't have a Christmas scene in it. It's about a very short baby cop, I guess, baby police officer who hasn't quite qualified yet, and she is injured in a job by a horrible, nasty lady, and ends up going to see a physiotherapist after she's partially healed, called Kudzi, who is from Zimbabwe, has a big Zimbabwean family, and they're trying to get her together with a bloke because she's in her 30s and they think she needs a husband. So it's kind of their journey from her being a patient, obviously, and Kudzi being her physio, and then they're no longer professionally connected anymore, so there's kind of some questions about whether they can date, that kind of thing. Molly also has a big family at home. Her eldest sibling, who's 12, is deaf, and up until kind of she started with the police, she was the one that was looking after the children whilst mum was at work. And obviously they're all kind of fluent in British Sign Language, but there's some issues at home with Adele, who's the sister who's deaf, and their new babysitter. So yeah, there's lots of like different threads pulling both the characters. There's also kind of funny best friends. That's always fun. Lucy is, I think, probably my favourite secondary character so far. She's hilarious, very clumsy, and a bit bolshy, so we love her.
Where do you get these characters from? You just imagine them, or you just...
Yeah, they just kind of come out of my head, I think.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So recently with characters, I've started finding photographs that I can refer to when I'm writing, because my memory is rubbish. So I'll say somebody has blue eyes in the first scene and in the next scene they've got brown eyes, you know. So having that kind of visual cue reminder is a lot easier than just kind of trying to remember. So I have those. But otherwise, yeah, they just kind of come out of my head. It's usually situations that create the characters. So I wanted to do a difference in culture. I wanted to do somebody from Africa. I have two friends, one of them a very close friend, the other one is a close friend of my wife's, who are both from Zimbabwe and could tell me everything they needed to know, that I needed to know, pretty much. So that was something I really wanted to do. But yeah, I think I just pull them out of my head, I'll be honest.
And they're amazing, you know, sort of like for those that haven't, you know, read any of your books yet, you know, they piece together and yeah, they take you on a journey, don't they? Yeah.
I would say that's the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So if people want to get hold of your books, Jen, where have you got a website, or do they...
Then just search for me on Amazon.
Just on Amazon, yeah?
They're all at Amazon. All three of my first books are available in ebook for both, for any kind of platform, paperback and audiobook as well.
Oh, that's really important, the audiobooks, yeah.
Yeah, they're really accessible. I love audiobooks. I'm obsessed with audiobooks.
Oh, nice one. So, Jen, what are your future plans?
So I'm almost finished with the editing process with my next book, Sing for My Baby, which I read from. It's about Rosie and Amber. Rosie is pregnant and Amber is an alcoholic. And that's out in February. I can never remember the exact date because Ilva release it first and then it goes to Amazon afterwards.
Right.
So it will be first or second week on the Ilva website. If you want to buy it on there, you can. And then a couple of weeks later, I think, on Amazon.
Well, if you want to do the launch, you know, but like this, I don't know that we're going to be out of lockdown, but if you want to do anything on...
I doubt it. But yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
You're very welcome to relaunch again, you know.
I think I have a launch scheduled on the 5th of February.
Okay.
So I don't know where it is. It's definitely on Facebook, but I can always slide it across to Proud Bar.
That would be nice, because it would be lovely to have you connected as we move forward.
Absolutely.
And then when we get out of lockdown, eventually, please, Boris, then yeah, we can get a little get together.
Yeah. So that's my fourth book. My fifth book is hopefully out in August. So this is a book set on a mental health ward. I'm self-publishing it because my publisher was concerned about some of the issues in it. They're primarily a business and need to make money from their books, especially at the moment with the kind of pandemic it's not being kind to businesses. So I'm doing it by myself. I've got an editor booked for February, I think.
Right.
That's hopefully, fingers crossed, if I get my act together, out in August. And that's about Harry, who has lingual nerve damage like I have, but is not coping terribly well, and Ash, who has gone through a trauma. And it's kind of their story about connecting and how they heal together, I guess. And that's going to be called Losing Touch.
Losing Touch.
Yes. And then in February 2022, okay, so I don't know what the title is. There's no kind of concrete title yet. The current title is Campfire Confessions. Right. And it's an age gap contemporary romance about Tony, who is a 30-something single mum with a teenager who's got cerebral palsy, and a mid-50s registered mental health nurse who runs a group for children called Wild Kids, which teaches them about eco-friendliness.
Wow.
And they do a lot of camping.
Yeah, and a campfire. Fabulous.
So I'm hoping that's out February 22.
You have been so busy. You have been so busy. Can I ask, how long does a book take for you to write?
It totally depends. So the Words Shimone took me 40 days and I still don't know how I did it.
No, that's some.
We're talking like 70 to 90,000 words, and I because what I do is every time I write how many words I've written and how, like, what the word count is.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I did that. I must have just like been obsessed with it or something. We're talking like 4 to 6 months usually. Right. Because I work full time, and you know, I've got other things, and we've moved house, and I've got a new dog, and life gets in the way.
It's so inspirational. It's lovely. It really is.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you, Jen, because we are on the Proud social group, and we are live on Facebook. I just want to ask you, as an author, and also, you know, somebody in our community, how important is Proud Bar to you?
Really important. Obviously in the pandemic it's been really difficult to have a space to go. When I was growing up, when I was at college, we had it started off being called the Foresters, then it was called the Alex Bar, then it was the Edge across from Tesco's. That closed, I don't even know when, and for a long time there was nowhere to go. So I lived in Weston. I literally had no kind of LGBT specific spaces to go. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not like I don't go to other places, but it's really nice to have that kind of space where it's just really safe and you can be who you want to be. You know, I'm married to a woman, and it's so nice to come to Proud Bar and be a married couple there, and not, because you get the occasional comment in places that aren't LGBT specific, you know, and it's just really irritating. So a place like Proud Bar is just so good for the community because it's somewhere to go, you know. And I have felt really welcomed. I'll be completely honest, it's been so nice. Every time we come in, it's just like, hi Jen. It's like, yay,
well, you know, it is built on, you know, love, and it's built on, you know, love for Weston-super-Mare. You know my story, you know. It's been a journey for me, and so when we set Proud Bar up, it's, you know, it's a community interest company. That's myself and 2 other directors. So that really it's a venue, it's a safe space, and it's here to stay. You know, for as long as we can keep the business side of things afloat, and, you know, with the community support, we can keep it going. And you know, it is a lot more than a bar, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's a safe space. It has got its nighttime function from about 6, 7, 8 o'clock. And for those that see it at midnight on a Friday and Saturday night, They know exactly what I'm, you know, where I'm coming from, what I'm talking about. You know, we like to throw a good party at Proud Bar, and yeah, we're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So, you know, but there's a side of me that sort of like, you know, wants to sort of like offer out into the community. We've always had this thing in Proud that we want to, you know, make sure that everybody is able to engage. So what would your suggestions be, Jen, you know, from somebody who is an author, for somebody who doesn't necessarily want to always come and, you know, have the party?
Yeah.
What would you like to see at Proud?
I think just a range of times, and, you know, have it open in the day. It's the perfect venue to have like a coffee sort of place, you know, and it's the perfect place for students as well, because it's not that far away from Weston College, is it?
No,
it's quite
we're on the
close.
boulevard.
Yeah.
Just down the road.
Yeah.
From the college.
Having, you know, maybe having a space for older teenagers to come where the main focus isn't alcohol, you know, having lemonade, Coke, maybe doing mocktails. That'd be awesome. Oh, you should totally do mocktails.
We have got a mocktail.
We do mocktails all the time.
It will be ready for you when we come out of lockdown.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, alcohol-free zone is
something
I'm quite passionate about delivering.
And maybe having like sort of advertising Proud Bar as a venue, you know, you can have such and such here, you know, this is a package that we could offer you. So I know where we had Weston-super-Mare in 19, they do certain packages, so you can, you know, you can book the space for however much, and then you can book tea and coffee facilities for however much.
Yeah.
So it's quite easy to find out how much things are going to cost. And, you know, if mocktail sort of serving for 30 people is something that could happen, then that'll be an awesome thing to have, where you don't even have to pay for your drinks individually. You know, you do a mocktail service thing. I just think that would be really cool.
I'm so glad we're recording this, because
I record all of my Zoom conversations. It's just easier.
Make some dreams come true in the new, well, not in the new year. I don't know how long it's going to take. But, yeah, certainly a community cafe ring is what we'd like to do. And you know, the over 50s, that's an important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's another kind of section of the community that I think is slightly sort of forgotten about. I mean, talking as somebody whose first like debut novel was about two women in their 50s, I know that there's a lot of that kind of section of community that they just don't get a space to go. You know, they don't want to go out clubbing. I'm 37 nearly. I don't want to go out clubbing.
No.
You know, I think there needs to be a place and a time for people that don't want to do that. And I think the over 50s is a great section. And you know, it'd be really good to do some market research actually and ask people what they would like.
And there are a lot of you know, people that are retired who are LGBT in Weston-super-Mare, in North Somerset, and we get people travelling in from Somerset, the wider community. You know, so you know, maybe that's something that we could focus on moving forward. It's certainly one of my passions.
Definitely.
to give Proud something else. We're going to be live at 9 o'clock because we are introducing something else again. Proud, and we're launching it tonight with one of our customers, Donna Landy, who is coming on, and we're going to start the comedy club tonight.
Amazing.
At 9 o'clock on the Zoom live, and I think it's being streamed on Facebook and everything. But we've had the Sunday fun day for people on a Sunday afternoon for quite a few months, and it's a couple of years now, and it's been really well attended. We've had drag queens from all over the country engaging with us. And now we just want to do something a little bit differently on a Sunday afternoon, mix it up a bit. So we're going to be going for the comedy club. So, like I said, that's
space for it, it's nice and intimate, and you've got a stage.
that's on at 9 o'clock after this.
Awesome.
So I'm going to come off shortly, Jen, but I really want to hand it over to you because you know, this is your time, and with me, I can talk about proud and pride all day long.
Fair enough.
But, it's really your time, you know, to engage with the customers and your people that are on Facebook.
Okay.
So I know that you've got, you know, bits and bobs that you want to talk about.
I've got some special information which is exciting that I can tell you about my books and about things that I'm writing. So
Wow.
feel free to stay on when once Nigel's gone to have a rest before the next bit.
Okay then, Jane. Well, I can come off this now. I'm going to hand it over to you. Will, can you sort out the text for us? I've got my tech guy here because I have no idea what I'm doing. Jen, it's lovely to see you. Love to all, and see you in the new year.
Yay, see you in the new year.
Bye.
So I'm gonna there's a couple of things that I want to tell you, kind of not secrets, but like interesting information about the books. So when I wrote The Words Shimmer, which is my second book, I kind of had this idea for my next book, maybe to include some people from The Words Shimmer in Reasons to Heal. So I did. So I'm going to tell you all the connections. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you've seen the L Word, it's a bit like connecting people, like Alice Piasecki does on her chart. It's a little bit like that. So in Hooked on You, there are some characters in Sing for My Baby, which is out in February. We have Fiona, who's a middle-aged lady who attends Ollie's crochet class, and she is an ex-French horn player. She is actually also in Sing for My Baby. She's Amber's AA sponsor. So she's the person that Amber goes to when she has some stuff to talk about. They meet quite regularly. They go to meetings together, that kind of thing. So that's one connection. Second connection, anybody that's read Hooked on You might remember Matthew, who is Ollie's best friend. Matthew gets together with a lad called Harry, and they both go to the crochet club. All of these people go to the crochet club. And Harry is Amber's best friend in Sing for My Baby. Obviously, Hooked on You used to be a fan fiction back in the day. I still see Harry as Lofty from Holby City and Casualty. So in my head, it's just Lofty, and I actually have a photo of Lee Mead, who plays him, to refer to when I write him. So he's a lush guy. He's just so lovely. He's got a horse, and he's just very gentle and sweet, and I really like writing him. So we then have The Words Shimmer and Sing for My Baby. They are connected by a little girl called Chelsea. In The Words Shimmer, she is one of the children that attends the gardening club, or gardening group that Mel and Ruby run. She's 7, I think, in The Words Shimmer, and she's 8 in Sing for My Baby. She is actually Rosie's niece, and she's a bit of a diva. She's also a budding comedian. She writes some limericks near the end of the book, which are very funny. And she also convinces her parents to get her guinea pigs, which is always fun. So yeah, that's so The Words Shimmer and Sing for My Baby. We then have The Words Shimmer and Reasons to Heal. So we have 3 characters who are in both books. Mel, the main character, one of the main characters in The Words Shimmer, and her crewmate James, because Mel's a paramedic. They actually turn up randomly at the beginning of Reasons to Heal. They are the crew that attend Molly when she breaks her scapula, which is the shoulder blade. And they kind of patch her up and bring her to hospital. We also have, from The Word Shimmer, Ruby, the other main character, her daughter Chloe ends up being Molly's younger sibling's nanny. So she's 18 in The Word Shimmer. She's a little bit older. I think she's 20 in Reasons to Heal. And she looks after the younger siblings whilst Molly isn't there, because she actually, they live down in Devon. She moves up to Bristol to be in the police force. So That's another connection. In fact, that's the last one that I have in my list. So yeah, I quite like connecting my books up with having like the same character in two books. It's quite exciting. I haven't done it with my next two books, but I might do it with a future one. So fascinating facts. Who wants to know some fascinating facts? We have number one. I actually own a crocheted bunny called Merlot. Anna has a crocheted bunny made for her by Ollie in Hooked on You, and he is called Merlot. I can actually show you him because he's here making a special appearance. This is Merlot Bunny. And I've clearly crocheted him, and he has a lint bunny bell. But yeah, fascinating fact number one. Fascinating fact number two. My parents are teachers, or used to be teachers before they retired. And that is the reason I chose teaching for Anna and Ollie's careers. So Ollie doesn't actually do it in a school anymore. Anna does. She's an English teacher. Ollie used to do it before she was injured in Iraq. So yeah, I come from a big teaching family because my granddad also taught the organ. So fascinating fact number two. Fascinating fact number three. The university in the Words Shimone is based on the University of West of England in Bristol. Specifically Glenside campus. So my wife went there to do her ECP training, and she went there to do her paramedic science degree as well. But I've slightly changed its layout because at UE Glenside there isn't a bit in the middle where there's a garden. So I had to change that slightly, and I haven't said where it's set either in the book. So that's fascinating fact number three. Fascinating fact number four. Molly and Kudzi and Lucy actually, their appreciation of the presenter of Cake Battle, which is a fictional game show similar to Bake Off in Reasons to Heal, is very similar to a fan base I'm part of. Those that know me will know who I'm talking about. It's Catherine Russell, for those people that don't know me. And that was kind of influenced by the fan base for her. Fascinating fact number five. So in Sing for My Baby, in case you haven't heard the reading, the two main characters meet at a choir, community choir, and I was in choirs all my childhood. We were in a choir called the Treble Clef Girls Choir when I think I was 10 until we moved from Derbyshire when I was 14. I would have been in it longer had we not have moved. But a lot of the songs that the choir sings in Sing for My Baby, I sang in the choir that I was in when I was a teenager. And I've made a playlist on YouTube, which you can check out if you want to. I'll put the link somewhere with a lot of the songs that have inspired me and some of the songs that they sing in the choir. And then my last fascinating fact, I've actually written the words and tune of the lullaby that they sing in the summer concert in Sing for My Baby. I'm a musician. I play the piano, guitar, flute, blah, 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 lots of things. I also sing. I wasn't able to use an existing piece. What I was going to use in my book was The Armed Man by Carl Jenkins, because when I was at university in Aberystwyth, we sung that in the big, I can't even remember what the choir's called, but we sung it 2005, I think. But I'm not allowed to use stuff like that because that's copyright protected. So I invented my own one. And yes, I've written the lullaby, and I will probably record it and put it on Facebook at some point and YouTube so that you can all hear it, because it's really cute. I've already talked a little bit about the settings of my book. So Hooked on You is loosely set in the Southwest. It's definitely set in England. I think I named the town Nailsea, although it's not really anything like Nailsea in the book. It's not really based on it. I just kind of plucked a town name out of the sky. The Words Shimone, obviously, as I've said before, is loosely set in Bristol, although I never actually say that it's Bristol that it's set in. Mel kind of lives in a bungalow in Uphill. I used to live in Uphill, and when they go for the walk with the dog on in the boatyard, that's where that is inspired by. Again, I don't actually say where it's exactly set. Reasons to Heal, I made the conscious decision to set it in Bristol because I just wanted to. I know a lot of books that have been kind of set in actual places, so it was really fun for me to like do a bit of research and kind of try and remember where I'd been in Bristol so that I could describe it properly. And they go to the Boston Tea Rooms, and I love it there. Well, no, Boston Tea Party it's called, isn't it? And they have, yeah, right at the end of the book. Sing for My Baby is set in Weston-super-Mare. Yay! And actually, the choir rehearsals and the AA meetings that Amber goes to, they take place in, is it the United Reformed Church? It's on the boulevard, literally kind of across the road from Proud Bar, so that's quite cool. I haven't included Proud Bar in that book. I should have done. That should have been a thing that I do. But I didn't. So my current work in progress, the book that I'm writing at the moment, which is actually going to be my 6th book, is set in a fictional village called Treebridge in sort of the Midlands, Pennines area. It's quite countrified. There's a river that kind of runs through the town like that. And I've actually drawn a map of it so that I know where everything is and can describe where people are walking, because people walk a lot. I'm going to release that map, but only to my newsletter subscribers. So if you want to see the map that I've drawn, that's very pretty, then yeah, sign up to my newsletter. I guess I could put the link, couldn't I, below on the Facebook feed. So that is all the exciting, awesome things that I have to talk about. I'm going to say goodbye so that you can all go away and have a rest before the amazing comedy thing that's happening at 9 o'clock. You've got 40 minutes to get your laughter sorted and get ready for it. So I'm going to say bye and have a great new year if I don't see anybody before then. And just remember that my next book is out in February. See you later, guys. Bye.